Hello, this is Donna, and I want to thank you for listening to the Vote Voiced podcast. Now, we are on Facebook. You can go to our website, which is votevoiced.com. We are on Twitter and Instagram, and we welcome and appreciate your donations. We appreciate you being here with us today. And today, we're going to be talking about voting by mail in Michigan in 2020. Now, all registered voters in Michigan will receive an application to vote by mail in the August and November 2020 elections. Now, you can use this application to apply now for both your August primary ballot and your November ballot. Take a look and see if you have received your application for your ballot. Now, Michigan's absentee voting process includes several security measures. In addition to checking the voter's signature on the ballot, the local clerks verify that the voter has not died, moved, or been sentenced since requesting the ballot. Voters who have requested an absentee ballot and not returned it are flagged in the electronic poll book and must either turn in the absent ballot or sign an affidavit that it was lost or destroyed before voting in the polling place. Only registered voters can request an absentee ballot, and the request must be in writing. The request must be signed by the voter, and the local clerk checks the signature against the signature on the file before issuing a ballot. When the absentee ballot is returned, the voter must sign the outer envelope, and the local clerk again checks the signature. Voting by mail is a convenient, safe, and reliable way to vote that is used by voters of both parties, including our military service members, and even President Trump and Vice President Pence vote by mail. Every registered voter in Michigan has the right under the Michigan Constitution to vote by mail as a result of the passage of Proposal 3 in 2018. Absentee voter fraud is incredibly rare. A voter is more likely to be struck by lightning in their lifetime than to commit voter fraud. Over a 20-year period in Oregon, where the voting process is entirely absentee, just 495 cases of proven fraud have occurred since 2000, while over 100 million ballots were cast. Voters can track their absentee ballot application and ballot throughout the entire voting process at the Michigan Voter Information Center at michigan.gov/vote. There, voters can monitor when their application was received, when their ballot was mailed, and when their ballot was received. On the Michigan Voter Information Center You can also find your clerk's contact information so that you can easily mail or email your clerk to check in on the status of your ballot. The voter registration process includes verification of the voter's identity and residency in the place where they are registered. Absentee ballots are tabulated publicly, just as normal ballots are, and volunteer observers appointed by both political parties are permitted in the counting rooms to make sure all proper procedures are followed. Now, next, I want to speak to you about the instructions or the steps to follow to vote by mail. Now, looking at your ballot, first, number one, you have to watch for your absentee ballot application to arrive in the mail. Okay, now all the applications should have been there around late May and early June, and that will come from your city, township, or clerk, or your county clerk, or from the Secretary of State. Now, everyone should have their application for the ballot. If you did not receive anything, call your city, township, or clerk, or the Secretary of State, or go to the website, michigan.gov. This is the time to make sure that your address is correct, to make sure that your registration is correct on your everything that you need to correct. You really should make sure that that's done. Now, let's say you did receive your application, okay? Take a look at your application. Now, I've already sent in my application and received my ballot. I've been on the absentee voter list for a while. I was really, really happy when Proposal 3 passed. So I've already sent in my ballot for August and signed up also for November. Now, looking at your application, you're going to fill it out and you're going to sign the application using your official signature. You're going to check the box for both go ahead and check the box for both August and November elections. On your application, it may have the information. Say, I can't remember. It may have the information to let you know when that August information for voting needs to be back. But remember, you can check it for November. Now, if you're not already on the permanent absentee voter list, check the box that says, I want to vote absentee in all future elections. Now, that way, you'll automatically get an absentee ballot application in the mail before every election. Okay, now let me take a look here. Okay, now, when you're looking at your application for your ballot, remember August 4th is the primary, and November 3rd is the general election. Now, you can check for both. Let's see. Yeah, you can check for both. But make sure you at least check for November 3rd if you're listening to this and it's too close to August 4th or it's past August 4th, okay? And this is for the November 3rd, 2020 election. After the November 3rd, 2020 2020 election, I'm probably going to delete this podcast because it'll be outdated and new information will need to go up with the, new dates for the next election. But this information will help you so that you can understand a little bit more about voting, absentee, and we're just, going over these steps about filling out this application. It's so important that you do everything exactly. Most important thing is that you make sure you sign your application. That is so important. You can go through all these steps, and if you forget to sign it with your legal signature, okay, that's the signature you put on your checks, that's the signature you put on your credit cards, it will not be valid. They'll have to send it back. Now, you return the application as soon as possible to your city, township clerk in one of these ways. And you can take a photo of the application and email it to your local clerk. You have to make sure that the signature can be seen. You can mail the application to your local clerk, okay? Make sure that it gets in the mail, that your mailman takes it, or you may have a local little blue box, mailbox that you can drop it in. But make sure, there's a lot going on in the mail. You can drop it off at your local clerk's office. Now, you have to make sure that your clerk is open and what time the hours are, or you can also give it to the clerk's assistant. Now, right now, everyone is saying email it or drop it off. Now, I did place mine in the mailbox, but I have that kind of confidence. Where I live, we haven't had any mail not coming through. But some people are saying that they're having difficulty receiving their mail. You know what's going on with your local post office. If you're having difficulty receiving your mail, you really do need to take it to the clerk's office, or you need to email it. Emailing it, making sure your signature is seen in the email when you take that screenshot is the best way. Now, you can find your clerk's contact information at michigandems.com/clerk. Now, you can also find this information on michigan.gov. Okay, but you can also find it at michigandems.com/clerk. Now, you need to keep an eye out for your absentee ballot to arrive in the mail. Now, your August primary ballot, it says should arrive around June 25th, and your November ballot should arrive around September 24th. Now, maybe it's pretty hard to miss when you do receive that application in the mail and you receive your ballot. You can tell that it's a special mailing. It's not like receiving junk mail. Okay, it's very distinctive, has plenty of information on there. It tells you what it is. You can track your application and ballot online at the Michigan Voter Information Center. Now, that's at michigan.gov/vote. Now, the one thing about voting by mail is that you can vote from the comfort of your home. Now, you place your ballot in the envelope provided and sign the outside of the envelope using your official signature. This is so important. Okay, you will, as far as I know, everyone in Michigan still has to provide postage. Okay, I've never had any trouble with a ballot not being received by the clerk with one stamp. Now, you're going to turn in your ballot. Okay, your completed ballot must get to your city township clerk by 8 p.m. on election day in order to be counted. So if you have received your application or you filled out your application, you received your ballot, please go ahead. You still have time to vote by mail. Go ahead and get that ballot back in, okay, so that it can be there by the 4th of August, okay? To ensure your ballot arrives by the deadline, you can drop it in the mail at least a week before the election. If it's less than a week before the election, drop it off at your city township clerk's office. Okay? So if you have your ballot, fill it out. If you do not think that you're going to have enough time to get it there by 8 p.m. on the day of the election, take it and drop it off at the clerk's office. Now, all questions, okay, can be answered by calling the Voter Assistance Hotline. It's called the MDP's Voter Assistance Hotline. And that number is 1-833 Michigan Votes. MIVOTES. So I guess I should really just say MI Votes. I'm going to say that again. That's the MDP's Voter Assistance Hotline. And that's 1-833 MIVOTES. And that number is 1-833 648-6837. And I'm going to repeat that. 1-833-648-6837. Now, I hope that this information has helped you. You can tell when I was talking about the steps that the steps are so important that I want to make sure that I say everything correctly and don't hesitate to stop and make sure I'm doing the right thing and saying the right thing, because voting is one of the most important things you're going to do. Social justice and social change comes when all of us stand together. All of us, black, brown, red, and yellow. And voting is crucial to social justice. Why? If you do not vote in people who are qualified, people who care, people who are going to take care of this country, who are going to respect the privilege we've given them of serving us, they don't care. We see that every day. It's unfortunate. But the power of your vote is to cause social action. Voting is crucial to the social justice system that's moving today. It's crucial. We must make sure that we vote in people who have a heart, who care about what's going on with the American people. This isn't a political nonprofit. Vote Voice is strictly about the education and promoting and getting out the vote. So I can't say it in a political way, but voting is the foundation of anything you want to do politically. Any change you want in this country cannot come about unless you vote correctly, vote with your knowledge, vote with a standard that people have to live up to. You don't have to tell anyone how to vote, and I'm not telling you how to vote. But everything that you think needs to be done, starts at the voting box. Everything. So we need to make voting a part of our life every day, our everyday life. We need to have such an attitude towards voting beyond 2020. Everyone wants to use their voting voice for 2020. Everyone, regardless of what their political party is. Well, we need to keep that attitude about voting on to 2021 and 2022, 3, 4, for the rest of our lives, and pass down this passion that has been stirred up in us to vote. We need to keep that passion. We will not always, I pray, be at such a fever pitch to get the vote out, but we need to, and Vote Voice will be here telling you about voting. And I know along with a whole lot of people, I'll be so glad when we have used our vote to be our voice on November 3rd, 2020. I'll be so glad, so that we can move on in our country to make things better in a correct fashion, looking out for our future of our children, because some of us, we may not have children yet. We will in the future, if that's your choice, of course. But everything that we do now is for future generations. I think about everything my mother and father did for social justice. We've had the passing of wonderful, great people who sacrificed their lives for social justice. We have people out there today putting their bodies on the line for the right to be free. Now, we shouldn't have to be doing that in 2020, but we are. And our votes help us to be free. Voting didn't come easy. You know that the first time women had the vote in England, only women over 30 could vote. I mean, our history here in America is littered with voter suppression. Even now, people want to practice voter suppression. So it's important, everybody. I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I cannot stress to you enough about the power of your vote, our collective vote. Use your voice and make sure you pass on voting to your family. Remind people to vote. I know people don't want to hear this. Some people do not want to hear it, but we still just, gently try to tell them, did you get that absentee ballot back in? Listen, I want to thank everyone for listening to my podcast. I appreciate you. I know that your time is valuable, and I appreciate you spending time with Vote Voice Podcast. And I want everyone to stay safe. I know some people will disagree with me. It's disturbing to me that people are attacking people because they do not want to wear a mask. But wear a mask for grandma, okay? Wear a mask for the other person. Wear a mask so that we can end this COVID crisis. We're doing everything we can as a collective people. And it's sad for me to see how some people are attacking store clerks who are essential workers. If the store clerks decide that it's too dangerous for them to work, who do you think is going to keep the stores open. They're there for us. The people who are trying to run their restaurants, they don't have to do that. The people who are out there in the fast food industry, they don't have to do that. We have people who are going out there every day, risking being ill, and you can't wear a mask to assist them, to protect them. You should be protecting the essential workers. You should want to protect people who are more vulnerable. Children, the elderly, anyone with health issues. Oh, people, I don't know. God bless us. God bless you and your family. I want everyone to stay safe. I thank the Lord for everything that He does for us in these difficult times. I want God to keep us, to take care of us, and ask the Lord to look out for us. And I ask the Lord to look out for you. I don't care what your religion is, what your creed is, who you support politically. I send blessings to you. And I want you to stay safe, wear a mask, social distance. And I thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.